All right. So I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't even have a Transformers shirt on, no Transformers. I kind of went out and I saw Transformers 1. So let me start by saying that I've been bugging for a while about I want ACA Cybertron Transformers. So the people that always complain, but the humans, I actually don't care about the humans. It's like when I watch Kaiju and when people go, but the humans, I'm not there to see the humans. I'm there to see. So when I watch Godzilla, I'm there to see monsters fighting monsters. Humans are just there just to keep the story going until I get to my monster fight. And sometimes they're there to help to see why the monsters are fighting. But the humans, I don't care. And when it comes to Transformers, I'm even more about that. The humans are secondary. We are a thing inside of a thing while we watch giant robots fight giant robots over things. So for all the people that sit there and cry about, oh, but the Bayformers, actually, no, they were more accurate than you can think. And you can try to fight me on that. For example, in the one movie where they had the cube, and then people were like, these aren't there. I was like, it's literally the Cybertronian cube. It's just that they kind of changed it up a little for the movie. So for a lot of the people who are like, the Bayformers are terrible. No, you're not a real Transformers fan. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. You could say, oh, well, you get to take... No, you aren't. Now, I'm not saying every single one of them were the best thing ever, but for a lot of the stuff that you've seen in there, for example, in the one movie, the second movie with the Graveyard of Primes, or the Transmetals, or all the stuff and how they used it and combined the things and did it, and you're complaining about the humans. If you're complaining about the humans, you have failed. The Transformers. There's a reason why those movies made a ton of money, except for the couple that were bad, like Last Night was horrible. Now, that being said, and I started off, and like I said, if you say it, your opinion's wrong. Haha, deal with it, my channel. Anyway, I have enjoyed the Bumblebee movie and the Rise of the Beast movie, which I think that did have one of the best humans in there. But Bumblebee too. They had some really good human interaction compared to some of the others. I'll give you that. Overall, Sam Witwicky, which is based off of Spike, and because I'm a real Transformers fan, and for the people that go, this isn't the Transformers, most of you are complaining only about Beast Machines. I was around in Generation 1 when the Transformers used to just fly. Why? Who knows? They used to just fly. You probably don't even remember that. See, if you're going to call yourself a real Transformers fan, then be a real Transformers fan. Now, anyway, with that being said, like I said, I think Bumblebee and I think Rise of the Beast are some of the best movies. Transformers 2 and 3, Dark of the Moon, I think were excellent movies. Transformers 1 was a good movie too. But like to see like the Destructicons and stuff like that, it was a fun time. But it's time for them to reevaluate. And I think that's what they are. And I did see something about Hasbro talking about how they're going to redo, they're going to kind of reboot the Transformers universe. Now, I'm thinking they're going to use Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast to kind of be that thing. But now today here, after I just wasted a few minutes of your time, we are talking about Transformers 1. Okay? The movie I've been waiting for. I've been wanting to talk about a Cybertron movie. 1 is great. Now, here's what's really cool. They do kind of explain how they're able just to fly. I do remember this is about like Orion Pax, D16, I think, Alita, and B126, which ended up being Orion Pax is Optimus Prime, and they actually reference why his name is possibly Optimus. There's actually a little reference in there. They do reference the GoBots in this movie too, which was great, and also too why D16 becomes Megatron. And why his name is Megatron. And the interesting part is that I remember Orion Pax back in the day, real Transformers fan, being like, he was more like a librarian and a historian and something like that, where in this one, they kind of changed it a little, where they made them the miners, which I think that was originally Megatrons, but they kind of combined it, which I actually didn't think was bad. I'm like, yeah, no, it's okay to update the thing, and you still have it, and Optimus, aka, Primus is a little bit of a troublemaker, but there's a reason why he's the type of person he is. B26 was funny, but now you understand why he talks all the time. Even back in the day, he was known as the guy that talks and everybody likes him. There's actually a little bit of a back explanation of that. And Alita. Now, what's also really cool is why the 4 of them are so important over time. They even have an explanation of Starscream and his voice and stuff. And they go through this entire story. First off, it's like an epic adventure. It's about rising above who you are and who you're told to be better and to be more. And this movie was freaking awesome. Okay, from the stuff with Sentinel Prime, they talked about the Quintessence. Actually, they could make 2 more movies. They should do Transformers 2 and 1, 2, and 3. And I think they can actually do that and create something really awesome with these 3 movies, setting up the beginning to the new Transformers with the G.I. Joe. And I hope they do the Energon universe in the movies. So I hope they do G.I. Joe through and through, not just with the Transformers, but on their own, because G.I. Joe, Hasbro definitely needs a reboot, because after that Snake Eyes garbage, don't you ever make a movie like that again. You will keep the characters the way they are. You will not be racially messed up and make him Asian. He's not Asian. Snake Eyes not Asian. He's a Gaijin. You need to get your stuff together. Stop messing up. Stop doing all that junk and do it the right way. And then you will have something great. Because Storm Shadow was awesome. And that's what makes Storm Shadow awesome. So anyway, I also hope they do what's the one Robert Kirkman does? The space comic of Void Rivals. I actually would like to see them do that too. I'm wondering what else they're going to add to the Energon universe, because I think Hasbro only owns a few. I don't know if they own Void Rivals. I remember they were trying to do this Revolution thing one time where they had like Rom, the Space Knight, and Action Man and Masks. I still hope they do Masks, since Masks was cool. I used to have the toys and you could transform, and it would make sense because Transformers, you transform them. But anyway, this movie shows how the friendship turned into a rivalry, and the other cool part is you actually see them slowly change through the film. That was cool. I like that. No one will ever beat Peter Cullen as the voice of Optimus, but what Chris Hemsworth did, I actually thought was really good. And they kind of did that thing too, where it's a new voice. And I do understand we can't have Peter Cullen forever, so eventually we are. I think Chris Hemsworth's voice worked really well, especially as it started to change. You can hear the change. Same with the dude that played Megatron. Now, we've had a few people play Megatron, and they've been good. I love the classics too, but I understand that we have to move on. And which they that played Agent Smith did a great job, but so did others. And this guy currently did an amazing job. And his voice and the change of the character, and you could hear the inflection, especially because the funny thing is that even how they got the name Decepticon and how they got the name the Autobots was interesting, because that is the war and how they're doing it. And the next one and the next one, these 3 could be the foundation for everything. What happened with Cybertron versus Cybertron's capital city? Like stuff like that. What happened with the war? What happened with the primes? And why are the primes there? Why is there only one prime now? With the Matrix's leadership and the whole thing. It even felt like the old 80s movie too. You got the touch! That would have been great if they did it, but they didn't need to do it. They already did it in Bumblebee. But anyway, if you want to see, this might be literally one of the best, if not the best, Transformers movie. They did a Cybertron thing. That's what I've always wanted. Now, I did hear Hasbro is focusing and they're realizing that maybe the humans aren't what people are seeing it, and they really should focus more on the Transformers. And the humans kind of be the side things, like the way the cartoon was, and that's how it should be. Yes, that is the right mindset, Hasbro. Keep that thought. That's how you do it. We focus on the Transformers. The humans don't need to, we gotta have a story about this. No. The humans are there to help the Transformers. The Transformers are there to do Transformers things, and that's how you need to do it. And the last couple movies have kind of been that way, and it's worked. So, I hope this movie does really well. It needs to do really well. It was awesome. Just to give you my rating right at the back, it blew my mind. This movie is beyond mine. Like, I love this Transformers movie. This is one of the best Transformers movies. They gave a lot of the fantasy element to it. They added things to it. Like I said, the flight thing was funny because now they use jets. So I was like, oh, there you go. You covered the explanation. You get to see a lot of classics and how they are before they become who they are and how they kind of know each other. And, the rivalry to the brotherhood between Megatron and Optimus, and that Spark show, even though they added something there they didn't need to, because I'm sorry, Transformers are already Transformers, so doing that stuff is weird to me when it's like it's switching. Like, I don't mind LGBTQ stuff, but Transformer already kind of can change, so that was just weird to me. If it's done right, it's whatever. But you know, you do, you live and you learn. Anyway, like I said, Some people it worked. I thought it was weird, but I did like the concept of Megatron and Optimus and the change and everything. I'm not saying it's like horrible. It was just a little thrown, but I have to actually sit down and watch that series. That's like the only Transformers I think I haven't watched yet, because they never finished what's the name one, but I did see the Machinima one. Yeah. I think that's the only one. I even watched the Rescue Bot one. I think that's literally the only one I haven't watched yet, the Spark one. But yeah, so as a whole, fantastic film. It had heart. Marvel, take notes. When it got serious, it got really serious, and you slowly saw the change in each character and who they had to become and and even their thought to how they had to deal with the situation started to split them, and you saw it. The Guard, that's why the Decepticons are so good too, which I was glad they actually explained that. The Decepticons, a lot of them were already warriors. That's why they're planes and fighter stuff, because they were the Royal Guard. Versus the Autobots, which a lot of the Autobots are the miners and the workers, which is kind of the big thing. That's why the Autobots have a little bit more variety in one aspect versus the other. So, like I said, they really go into it. I think it's great. I hope they do Transformers 2, Transformers 3, and use this as a groundwork for their new universe. But I did hear that they're kind of rebooting it, and I did see some images of a new Megatron that looks a lot closer to the classic. And my personal opinion, between Bumblebee, when they looked classic on that was fantastic. So the Bumblebee thing and Rise of the Beast, I'm hoping that these are the new series going forward. We have to look into it. But outside of that, like I said, blew my mind. Definitely see Transformers 1. Give it all the love. This is the Transformers you wanted. They're more focused and everything. And I know there's always I wish this one, like Rise of the Beast, I wish they had more of the Maximals. Like, you're gonna get, if you keep these going, trust me, you're gonna get a Beast Wars movie. And you're gonna get a Beast Machines movie. So just trust me, keep this stuff going. This was a good one. This is actually probably, to me, quite possibly the best Transformers movie, and if it's not, it's definitely in my top 5, and right now I'm thinking it's in my top 3. I'm still waiting it out, but I mean, this movie really, I had a great time watching it. Geek Protagonists, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real, and like I said, I don't care if you go, the Bayformers, guess what? I don't care. The Bayformers was great. There's a reason why they made money, and you can sit there and go, well, money doesn't matter. Well, once, but then you go again, and again, and again, and again, and again. They were making billions. They were Marvel before the MCU was the MCU, of how much money they were making. So that means people enjoyed what they saw. So have a good cry. Anyway, take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay real, and I'll see you.